What's up, guys? It's Jerry here. I am cruising around town, just left Ryan's place, and I'm here to talk to you about a movie I saw over the weekend. Because that's right, man. I haven't done a review in a while, and I gotta get back on track. Stop being a slacker, stop being a bum. Or maybe just stop working, which is the opposite. So I saw a movie this weekend. It was a movie that I'd heard a few things about. I just knew it existed more than anything. And I am talking about, of course, the new film Ex Machina. This is the movie that was written and directed by Garland, a guy whose name you might remember from some Danny Boyle movies. He wrote Sunshine, which is a favorite of mine. He wrote 28 Days Later, which is a favorite of mine. A bunch of other stuff. He collaborates with Danny Boyle a lot and you know, other people as well. But this is his debut as writer-director, Garland. I apologize if there's noise. It's so hot today. It's sweltering. The weather can't make up its mind. So I have the AC on. But anyway, so yeah, Garland, I always enjoy when this guy pops up. And I was worried, you know, because this movie is an artificial intelligence movie. And that seems like a tricky genre, especially now that it's become so prevalent. We have the technology to pull off some of the visual aspects of that. So now people are playing with it more. And it's, you know, closer on the technological horizon than maybe it was 10 years ago. So it's a frequent topic of discussion. So I was worried, you know, I like this guy, I don't want to see him fail, you know, hoping the best from a man here. And I gotta say, this movie is pretty incredible. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this might just be a perfect movie. I really love this film. So this movie stars Domhnall Gleeson. He's been popping up in more and more stuff lately. He was in that movie Frank with Michael Fassbender, and this is sort of a leading role for him as this young software coder who is selected to basically fly out to this remote facility where the head of his company is testing something and he needs him to help with that process. The head of the company, that character's name is Nathan, played by Oscar Isaac, who I didn't even realize was in this movie until the credits rolled. He disappears so much into the character, and he looks different, you know, he's got the shaved head and the big old beard. So this young guy, Caleb, flies out to basically help him test this project, which turns out to be an artificial intelligence. So Caleb is called out to this facility basically to perform a Turing test, which, as they sort of explain in the movie, is having a human interact with an artificial intelligence, asking it questions, talking with it, and basically looking to discern whether or not they're talking to an actual, you know, intelligent mind or just a really good sequence of algorithms. So that's the basic gist of the movie. There's a lot more to it than that. It's very tense at times. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue and you know, various plot developments, but that's the basic stuff, and I don't want to give away too many of the surprises. But Oscar Isaac and Domhnall Gleeson are fantastic in their roles, you know, playing two very different guys. I mean, you know, Domhnall Gleeson is very personable, but you can tell he feels awkward here, and Nathan is sort of your modern you know, software entrepreneur type, you know, he's kind of bro-y even, you know, because he's so smart, but he's also very masculine, and so that creates a very interesting, kind of uncomfortable interplay between the two of them. And then you have Ava, who's the artificial intelligence, played by Alicia Vikander, and she does a fantastic job too, because she's got to play, you know, a robot, but not a robot. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's that fine line between, you know, not quite human, but still, you know, a consciousness. And she does a fantastic job as well with that. And the main plot centers mostly around these three characters and, you know, some other supporting, you know, people who float in and out. But mainly it's these three, and they do a fantastic job anchoring the movie. And you really don't know who to trust after a while. And part of that, you know, is really on the performances, because everyone is really fleshed out. All these characters have so much personality and so much life in their own very different ways, and that just on a human level makes this movie really interesting. And then part of this also falls on the writing too, because the characters are very defined and none of them are entirely good or entirely bad at all, and so it makes it all the more difficult to figure out who to trust and who not to trust, and there is no clear-cut good guy or bad guy. You have a clear-cut protagonist in Caleb, in Domhnall Gleeson's character, but when it comes down to all the implications, it's kind of hard to say, and that's part of what makes this movie so interesting. And I gotta you know, hats off to Alex Garland, because this is a really well done movie in every respect. You know, from the script, you know, Alex Garland's a good writer. I really like his science fiction and his, you know, writing, and he has a way with this, because nowadays we have this weird thing where, like, because we got so overloaded with big dumb action movies, now people are always trying to put vague amounts of science into stuff, and sci-fi is a really big genre right now. But Alex Garland has a way of writing where you can tell he's done his research, and, you know, he's actually read beyond just the basic stuff. He uses that research, and he uses the intelligent parts of the story the way one who just knows them might reference them. He doesn't necessarily feel the need to lay them out in the most blunt, you know, terms possible. So when you get exposition, when you get explanations, it makes sense in the plot. It makes sense that the characters would say this. It doesn't feel the need. It doesn't seem to dumb anything down. It trusts that you'll pick up what you need to. And I really appreciate that, because this is a very smart movie, and it's so refreshing to me anyway to be back in a realm of science fiction that is really about the ideas. You know, it's still engrossing, it's still thrilling, and there is still, you know, stuff that's going to elevate your heart rate, but it's engrossing partly because you're thinking the whole time, which is just so awesome. And there's a lot to think about across the board, and there are a lot of really subtle choices that are there for you to kind of pick up and mull over. There's some really smart undertones, some things that really get you thinking and considering and stuff. And there are also certain elements of the way people behave to each other, the way men and women behave, that are sort of brought into the table too. And then on the other side, you know, of things, he's directing it this time as well. And it's not the same kind of thing, but we saw a shift a lot like this earlier in the year with Wally Pfister and Transcendence, and where that didn't come together for me anyway, this really does. And I gotta hand it to Alex Garland again. You know, it seems like he's really learned over the years from all the directors he's worked with. But what I appreciate so much is that this doesn't feel like it's trying to be a Danny Boyle movie, whereas, like, I feel like Transcendence wanted to be a Chris Nolan movie. This movie is very confident, it's very well paced, it's very well sort of thought out and fleshed out. It takes its time, but it also doesn't outstay its welcome. It's really confidently captured, the cinematography is great, it's very warm and intimate, they play with light in really interesting ways, and you can tell this is a guy who really thought about his project and really thought about everything. And granted, he does have good collaborators too, obviously, but this is a really solid entry as writer-director. It's really well written, really well captured, really well edited. The acting, the performances are great. The music is really cool and interesting. You know, every level of this movie, for me anyway, worked. You know, I partway through this movie, I had a grin on my face, because I even said aloud to my friend, I was like, I love this. This is fantastic. And usually when I'm saying that halfway through a movie, I'm almost worried, because it's hard to stick a landing, you know? It's hard to end a movie, and this movie didn't let me down. It stuck every landing, you know? It hit every note it needed to. I can't think of a complaint, you know? It's like, I get the sense that Alex Garland put a lot of time and care into the script. It's thrilling without being goofy or cheesy. There are some really beautiful moments and some really human and very rich elements to this that are just so cool to see, you know? It's interesting this and Chappie came out at such a similar time, because they do represent two sides of a coin. And I'm glad that we have this one as well, because I haven't been this enthralled by a movie, especially a movie of this kind, in a long time. And I'm so happy for Alex Garland and everyone involved, and I really can't recommend it enough. So if you get a chance to see Ex Machina, if you like science fiction at all, please go check this out. Between this and Predestination earlier in the year, it's been a really cool year so far for heady sci-fi, you know, and I'm so happy that that's coming back. So, Ex Machina, definitely check it out in the theaters. Pay full price for this. Give them some support. I cannot wait to see it again. Yeah, so what's something you guys would like to see happen in modern sci-fi, maybe on the less action-y side of things? Let's talk about that. And is there maybe a writer whose vision you really enjoy, who you'd like to see break into directing? So yeah, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Leave comments in the comment box. Be nice to your fellow commentators. And also, you can find all of our Real Rejects stuff on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I've also got Reasons to Jerry on the Twitter and the Instagram now as well, so hit me up on the socials. And until next time, Ex Machina is the film. I am Jerry. Cheers.